minutes to all the people to join us. Again, welcome back, and I'm very happy to be live again. So today we are going to cover an argument that for some of you can be quite interesting, and we are about to speak about, of course, the bees, the vineyards, the wines, of course. So we are going to analyze a little bit the relationship that we have when it comes about, implementation of the biodiversity, increasing of biodiversity, and the higher result in terms of quality when it comes about winemaking. Of course, we have different things to say. So this live, it will be just like an introduction on this argument. So we'll do this little introduction today, and for the next Wine Thursday, we'll go a little bit deeper into the argument, and I think we will go also to analyze a little bit more the lives of the bees in the hives. So again, this will be the first part of 2 live stream completely dedicated on this topic. So I see that few people are coming, and so I think we can start. I would like to share my screen to you. Just give me 1 second, and I'll be ready with the screen. There we go. Okay. Let me know if you don't see, of course, the screen. The bees, the vineyard, the wines, of course. So probably every one of you is, of course, having this question in his mind: why the bees are connected with wine production? Well, they're quite connected because they are the primary pollinator insect, and so they are connected with the vineyards. From the vineyard, as you know, we do the wine, we make the wine. So we will try to analyze a little bit, the importance of the bees and bee breeding, beekeeping, when it comes about the enhancing of biodiversity. But let's start to, let's say, talk about the bees in general a little bit, the bees that we keep into the hives, of course, also here at the Fattoria di Montemaggio. Later I will also show you few pictures, few photos. So the bee family. Now, of course, let's try to talk about in general the family of the bee. And let's see the different, players that we have in this game. Let's see the different, type of bees that we find. So we have the queen bee. The queen is the only fertile female. She is distinguished from the workers by her longer, bulkier abdomen. And her job is basically to lay eggs and command the colony. She's in charge, of commanding the colony, and she can live up to 5 or say 4 or 5 years. The kelp is the male and does not possess a stinger. His task is to fertilize the queen. Lives about a season roughly, because during winter he is driven away from the hive. In the winter period, inside the colony are not present. So the worker bee are the last category that we are going to speak about. The worker is a sterile female. In the hive, we cannot count the, let's say, how many of these we have. We have so much of worker bees. His body is extremely versatile. In fact, it performs during its life all the work necessary in the hive. It lives about 40 days in summer because of the much work, but in the winter period, it survives from, say, September until January, February. The period, of course, of restart the hive, basically. Why the bees are so important for the biodiversity? I told you before, it's so simple. They are the primary insect for pollination. So they basically keep this, biodiversity machine working. Let's now try to understand a little bit better what we define with biodiversity. The term biodiversity is a contraction of biological diversity or biotic diversity. These terms are all referred to the idea of living variation from genus and traits to species and to ecosystem. So, in simple words, Biodiversity is, the diversity among, species of insect and plants and vegetables and so on. So the more species of insect you have in your ecosystem, in your environment, and the more species of plants, vegetables, and so on you have, the more you will increase biodiversity. And as I told you before, from our point of view, these are the kind of thing that will help this machine of the biodiversity to function a little bit better, because they're responsible for pollination. So they are like in charge to kind of like bring new life every season, every year, sorry, to the different vegetables. They help, of course, the pollination. So it's so important even for a vineyard. And having a bee, of course, hives here in Montemaggio, it's so important, because if, of course, we are, let's say, increasing the presence of the insect, of this insect here at the Fattoria di Montemaggio. So that's so crucial for us. That's so important, and we will be able in this way to, let's say, again, increase biodiversity with not that much effort, and we will be able to, have a better resilience of the vineyard and a better overall function. So that's the idea. Let me just turn off, sorry, a little bit, or the volume, or just like I want to lowering a little bit, because I think it's too loud, and I really, of course, enjoy to have a little bit of music, but sometimes it's too loud. I'm afraid you will not be able to listen to me. Anyway, so the bees are, again, helping so much the biodiversity in this sense. They are, in general, they are helping the ecosystem. So when you have, of course, an increasing in biodiversity, you will have a much more resilient ecosystem. You will have a much more resilient ecosystem inside the vineyard. And of course, you will basically reduce the intervention that human should do inside the vineyard itself. So the vineyard will do, I don't want to say everything by itself, but the majority of things. As you can see, this is Exxon. This is the guy who's in charge of the bees here at Montemaggio. Is very passionate about the bees. He has this great love for this subject, and is learning quite fast. These are our bees. This is the Italian species of bees. They're kind of like orange reddish kind of color. Today he explained a little bit, and they're the typical Italian bees. We are producing right now. We did the chestnut honey. And of course, he's planning also to extract a little bit the thousand flower honey, the millefiori, as we say in Italian. And he was able also to do a very tiny bit acacia honey. And so right now, of course, we are just sampling. We're tasting a little bit of this honey, and we're really surprised by the quality. Maybe from the next year, we will also be able to let it taste to the people that are coming to join us for the wine tour. So we are so excited also because of the honey. But again, the bees are also here to increase the biodiversity in Montemaggio, to help the resilience of the ecosystem. Again, Exxon with the bees from the hives. Again, resilience is probably the key word when it comes about, of course, increasing of biodiversity. You will create this beautiful stabilization of the ecosystem inside the vineyard. And in general, not only the vineyard. This is a picture of Montemaggio with the drone. So you see all of our, estate. And so just imagine, all of these. That will be, all of these vineyards. There will be this kind of like ecosystem that will be capable to work by itself and in a much more natural way. So the quality of the wine will be higher, and not only will be a little bit easier our job, the job of the worker that are responsible of the vineyard, but in general, we'll have it's increasing in terms of quality. Let me just stop to share the screen with you in a second. So we will be able, in general, at this point, to have again an overall increasing in terms of quality. and we will be able to proceed. Of course, as I told you, this is just to give you, an idea on the reason why we wanted to, so much talk about bees. Of course, next week we will also to take a closer look to the life of the bees in general, and we will see, of course, what they do and how it functions, everything. But this live, it wanted to be again an introduction about the let's say about this topic, and I wanted, of course, to let you know about the relationship that's so important, that when it comes about the vineyard, the bees, and then the wine production itself. So we wanted just to be, again, like a little introduction to all of you. And coming back to the honey topic, I would like to say a couple of words more, because last week we spoke about cheeses and wine, the wine food pairing with the cheese. So again, we actually love so much in Italy to add a little bit of honey on top of the cheese, and especially with the very aged cheese. It's so good to have a little bit of honey from acacia, from chestnut. So this is also can be a really good idea if you're interested, to try new things when it comes about food and wine. Just try different types of honey with different types of cheeses, and with different types of, especially white wine, I would like to say. So different types of wine in general, but especially white wine. For example, if you have a very fat type of cheese, as we said the other week, like a 42% fat cheese, you can use, for example, like the acacia honey, which sounds a little bit sweet, but also fresh a little bit on top of that, and you can match maybe that type of cheeses with a very dry, super dry, and beautiful types of wine. Like, maybe, for example, if you want like a Riesling from the Mosel region, it can be really great idea. Or if you have a very aged wine, and maybe you want something that is a little bit like different from for example, this Chardonnay from Montemaggio. This is actually what I'm like pretty much drinking usually during the summer. This is something I really love, this kind of wine. So it has this beautiful, nice, nose that will remind to you probably to tropical fruits, passion fruit, banana, pineapple, and in the mouth is quite fat, and it has also this minerality. So it's really good with the super, tasty but aged types of cheeses. And in that case, for example, I would suggest you, for example, very, like super good chestnut honey, for example. I think it's really great food and wine pairing. So for today, I think it's everything. See you next time, and we will speak about, of course, the life of the bees in the hive. So again, remember, the key word is resilience. We want to create much more resilience, of course, for the ecosystem of the vineyard, in order to reduce the intervent, in order to reduce the thing we do, and to have, this is good to have a better approach, and a much more natural approach when it comes about viticulture and agriculture in general. And so if you want, I would like also to remind you that we have a YouTube channel, and on our YouTube channel you can find a very interesting video where me and Daniele, which is our internship guy, he was working here a couple of years ago in the cellars as an internship guy, and now he's continuing to work with us sometimes. We made this video last week, and we are speaking there about this concept a little bit, from a much more scientific point of view. He made a thesis about it. So if you're interested also in knowing more about it, let's go and check it on our YouTube channel. Anyway, see you next time. It was a pleasure. Bye.